But fluoride in our water, we've had it in our water presumably since the early 60s. And at this point in time, people are starting to sit up and take note that it's not a good thing. What's your take on it, Aisling?
Well, yeah, people think that, most people that we do speak to think that it's in the water for the teeth. And that was the common perception, that was the reason that, it's been added to our water now since 1964 to prevent dental cavities. When the opposite is true. It's actually, it's not just fluoride that's been added, it's a substance called hydrofluoric acid, and which fluoride is only just one of the ingredients. It's actually also aluminium, lead, mercury, uranium and cadmium, so it's a heavy metal cocktail basically, and it's coming as a waste product from the fertilizer industry.
So this has been added to our water since 1964. I presume we took the lead from some other country, or some other countries around Europe maybe, or even America.
America, yeah. It's following public health policy from America. They introduced that. So the Irish, they kept in with the American kind of that way. So they followed suit anyway. And, they believed originally that it was being put in to prevent dental cavities. They didn't realise the impact that it would have on human health. But under the Health Act that it was brought under in 1960, one of the requirements was that they test the impact of fluoridation on human health, and to date no test has ever been done.
Never been done. So 1964 it was added to a water, and here we are now almost 50 years later, and nothing has ever been examined or tested. So the government of this country are putting, it's more than just fluoride, isn't it? You said it's another product there.
Yeah, it's a byproduct, so it has like aluminium, lead, mercury, uranium, cadmium. So it's heavy metals that the human body does not need, and it wreaks havoc then with the biochemical pathways of the body.
Now, you're obviously you're on a campaign, as I said, a nationwide campaign, a crusade, dare I say it, to highlight the fact that fluoride is in our water and it's doing damage to our health. Ireland, are we alone in this now, that we are the only country, or who else is doing it? Just take Europe for example.
Oh yeah, within Europe, there's only 98% of Europe has either stopped or banned fluoridation of their water supplies.
They've actually banned it?
Yeah, so it was in 1976 in Holland, they actually banned it in their constitution after randomised control trials were showing the detrimental health impacts. And that was written into their constitution that they'd never again introduce it. So
98% of the countries of Europe have banned or refused to allow fluoride into the water. So why are we fighting a lone battle in this one? Are we just stupid or lazy or just accepting that we've done it all, basically all our lives, all of 50 years, and why should we stop?
Well, I think, the Irish government have been educated by... There has been Professor Paul Connett come over to the government a number of times, and he's a professor of chemistry from New York. And he has shown 50 reasons why you shouldn't do this.
50 reasons why you shouldn't?
Why you shouldn't, yeah. And they don't acknowledge, they're not paying any heed to any of the science. And they set up then this expert body in fluoride and health, and they published a report in 2002 basically saying that fluoride at its optimum level causes no health impacts, when that's the opposite is true. And then just this year, February 2012, Declan Waugh, the environmental scientist, he's published his report on water fluoridation and the health impacts and legal implications, and he's showing that it's contravening 33 EU directives, and he's also showing all the different health impacts, that the risk with the increase of cancer, thyroid dysfunction, depression, just a whole host of conditions that are common today in Ireland, and people are wondering why our health is deteriorating. And this is one of the leading problems here, is because we're drinking so much water on a daily basis, and people have no clue what's going into their systems. We're encouraged to drink 8 pints of water a day, and our bodies are made up of 70% water. So it's the one thing that should be the most healthiest thing that we have access to, should be our water. And
you're saying it's the exact opposite?
The exact opposite. So, and people are not aware, and that's why we're doing this campaign, the Girl Against Fluoride. We're going to different events, like I started in the Roads of Tralee. We're up in Electric Picnic, we're at a health event, the Root Health up in Dublin, and now this week we're going to the Ploughing Championships. And we're just trying to get people on board, because the only way we can win this is with people getting on board and helping, because the government aren't listening, so it's going to have to come from individuals.
It sounds like it's a very serious issue, Aisling, and I can't understand why a lot more red flags aren't being raised in this. That up and down the country, well, in the 26 counties in particular, I'm not sure we'll talk about the north of Ireland in a minute, but here in the 26 counties, every county is fluoridating its water. So somebody has to stand up and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Is it against the law to stop doing it?
It is, yeah, because we're actually the only European country that has mandatory fluoridation. So it was written into law in 1964 that this has to be carried out. So if the local authorities, they see that they shouldn't do this, but even if they were to stop us, they would be breaking the law.
And has nobody made this a political issue at any point in time? I'm sure now the awareness is growing and growing and growing, and your presence at a lot of these events, you mentioned this week you'll be at the Ploughing Championship, so a lot of people are going to turn up, a couple of 100,000 or whoever. They will all be made aware of the fluoride situation in this country and realise that we're out on a limb here in Europe. We're the only ones doing it. We're the only ones poisoning our own people.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a deliberate ploy? Like, I read somewhere that fluoride has one of the side effects of fluoride is that it has it dampens aggressiveness. It reduces your IQ. So is that why in recent times we have seen little aggression towards government policy, that we're all becoming a nation of, say, zombies?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we had we ran the campaign. It was run with my mom through Mount Hawks Secondary School in Tralee last year. And their campaign was "Would You Pay for Poison?" It was a transition year group, and they actually made a song called "Wake Up Zombie Nation," that we don't want this in our water. And it's a neurotoxin. It's a known neurotoxin. It was published in Harvard this year that it has a detrimental impact on the brain and the lowering of the IQ. And it kind of explains how in Ireland we are actually taking all what's happening with the government, and any other European country, they'll be up in arms.
Well, can I safely say then, judging from what you're saying to me, Aisling, this morning, that I bet you the Greeks have no fluoride in their water?
No, they don't. No.
That makes sense then, that they're aware to the austerity measures, and here in this country we're just taking everything on the chin because of the passiveness of our nature in recent years.
Exactly.
I'm presuming it's not an overnight effect, but it's a cumulative effect of 50 years of fluoridation.
Oh, yeah, so you're not going to drink a glass of water and you're going to rush to the doctor with an illness. It's going to be, they say sometimes it can take over 20 years for it to bioaccumulate in the system before any health and problems can manifest.
Well, then anybody under the age of 50 has been just subjected to fluoride in the water system.
Yeah, exactly. And say my mum is 50 now and she's the first generation to be fluoridated. So then, like the second generation, you can see with people of my age, people's health is much worse. We've got many more chronic illnesses that people never had before in their early years. You can see so much thyroid dysfunction, which is directly impacted by the water fluoridation.
So there is a correlation between certain illnesses in this country and the fluoride in the water. No question about it.
Yeah, there is, yeah. And the whole thing is, like in Germany, they stopped it in the 70s based on the fact that it's unethical to actually force a substance onto, you can't mass medicate a country. You can't give the same amount of dosage to a baby as you do to an adult.
Which is what is happening.
Makes no sense. And that's what's happening. And why we're going to Ploughing Championships this week is we're showing that the fluoridation of water causes lots of chronic problems, poisoning of horses and other like cattle and things, and can lead to lots of problems like dental fluorosis and thyroid dysfunction. So
the bottom line, Aisling, is it's unavoidable then even if we drink it, but it's in the food chain as well.
Exactly. So what we're trying to say is this is in our food chain and we're exporting that to Europe, and Europe have stopped this in their water supply. Therefore, they don't want this coming in to their people. So this could potentially impact on the export trade, and which we don't want that to happen. We don't want our exports to be going out contaminated with this dangerous substance.
Well, would it not be in our benefit then to tell the people of Europe, we're actually putting fluoride in our water, don't buy our products until we stop it? So force the government's hand then.
Exactly, yeah, because the only way they listen is through the pocket. They don't care about our health. They don't care about people with chronic illnesses and, cancer rates exploding, and a whole host of different problems.
Do you know what I'm getting from this conversation this morning, Aisling? A lot of people are completely oblivious to this fact that the water they're getting it has this, let's call it for what it is. It's a toxin, it's a poison, and we've been subjected to this for the last 50 years. Nobody else in Europe will tolerate it.
No.
We're doing it, and we think it's the right thing to do. Obviously, no government has addressed the issue. Nobody has been brought to book over it. And I suppose if somebody can prove the side effects from